Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you are listening to the Meditations and More podcast here on the littleshaman.com. Just type in that address and it'll take you directly to the YouTube channel. Brought to you by Transrelational Healing, shamanspiritcenter.com, and littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. Today, I wanted to talk to you about something a lot of people wonder about when dealing with narcissists, and that is, do they just get away with their terrible behavior forever? The short answer is no, they do not. Even if you never see anything befall them that you would feel is fitting for what they've done, the reality is they're not getting away with anything. These are extremely unhappy, empty people. They don't really feel the satisfaction you might imagine that they would at getting away with something. Many of them are also extremely paranoid too, so the reality is they might never truly feel safe or feel like they've gotten by with anything, even if they actually have. People often feel that narcissists are getting away with stuff because they want the narcissist in their lives to face consequences or to have repercussions that are directly related to what was done to them. Many people want to be the one pulling the switch, as it were. That may not happen, but the truth is, that doesn't mean narcissists are not facing consequences for their behavior. For example, you want this person to hurt? They do. You wish this person would suffer? They do. You wish this person would be miserable? They are. You want them to never find happiness? Don't worry, they won't. All the things that you wish to happen to this person or you feel like would be fair are already happening to them and have been for years. In a very real way, that's why they are the way that they are. It's why they do the things they do, why they use people the way that they do, why they have no empathy for the pain and suffering of other people. Narcissists need connection with others in a way that most other adult human beings do not, but they can't really achieve it, and that is extremely painful for them. It leaves them unstable and afraid. Worse, they don't understand why it's happening, which means they can't address it or stop it, so it just keeps happening over and over and over again. This impacts their feelings of self-worth and self-image enormously, which is why their narcissistic defenses automatically blame that on the other person. This might seem like it protects them, but the reality is that it makes it so they can't actually get the thing that they need the most. It literally prevents them from doing the one thing they need to do in order to survive. This is not helpful to them. In fact, it slowly but surely ruins their lives. People dealing with younger narcissists might not believe that, but it is the reality of the situation. And if you look at older narcissists, a lot of times their lives will prove that to you. Sure, they can make superficial connections, but that's not what they really need. They can't get what they need because they can't bond or connect with anybody else. This is very destabilizing and causes a lot of stress for them, regardless of who they're able to blame it on, because even if they can blame it on other people, they still can't get what they need to stabilize and regulate themselves. Physically, studies have shown that narcissists feel more stress than people who are not highly narcissistic, and that the stress is more impactful on them. They are prone to all stress-related illnesses and diseases such as heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, things like that. They're also more prone to develop dementia and Alzheimer's. This is likely, at least in part, due to the fact that their only real coping skill is denial and ignoring things, which of course does not work. Sometimes people take issue with that, saying that, the victims of narcissists are prone to stress-related illness. Yes, they are. That doesn't mean that narcissists are somehow not. Anybody who has ever dealt with a truly pathologically narcissistic personality knows that these folks torture themselves just as much as they torture everybody else, maybe more. They are miserable, miserable people. That's one of the reasons they do it, in fact. That's why they torture other people. They need somebody else to take their own misery out on. They got to have somebody to blame that on. Imagine the burden of always needing to be right, of never being able to make even a silly mistake, of being so paranoid, of never being able to trust anybody, including yourself, of always trying to suss people out because you can't understand really anything about them, of not knowing how to navigate even a simple conversation, of always needing to find this sinister motive against you, of constantly needing to presuppose and jump ahead 5 spaces to what you think everybody is going to do and say so that you don't get caught off guard or taken advantage of thinking any second it's just all going to come crashing down, of feeling that you literally will not survive if people don't see you the way that you need them to see you. Now imagine that all of these fears and many, many more are constant, never ending, and always amplified to 11 because you cannot regulate your emotions in any way. This is on top of the constant pressure and stress to present yourself to the world in such a way that nobody knows this is all happening every single second inside of you. The misconception is that because narcissists don't have empathy, because they typically don't feel bad for what they do to other people, this translates to never feeling bad at all. That's false. Someone not feeling guilty for what they do to you doesn't mean they're just going around feeling happy all the time. Feeling bad for other people is not the only way a person can feel bad. Not having empathy for you doesn't equate to the narcissist having no feelings at all. This is an incorrect understanding of how this works. Narcissists definitely have plenty of feelings, and the majority of them are negative. In fact, we could say that part of the reason they don't feel bad for causing pain to other people is because they have such a constantly negative emotional experience that they just don't have any space left for anything else. I can't care about your injury when both of my legs are broken. I didn't even notice you had an injury and I don't care. All I can see, all I can care about is what is happening to me. That's it. There's so much of my own stuff that you don't really even register. You don't exist to me. If you've ever been in a serious amount of pain, then you know how this works. You cannot pay attention to anything going on around you, and you don't care about any of it at all. All you can think about is how you feel and how much this hurts. That is essentially the crux of dealing with narcissists. Their feelings are so big and so out of control that they just eclipse everything else. This does not excuse their behavior in any way, but it does help explain it so that we can create our expectations accordingly. This person cannot see your pain. They cannot see your experience. They cannot see you. All they can see is themselves, and if dealing with a narcissist teaches you nothing else, it will teach you that. They need somebody to take all these negative feelings out on and somebody to blame for the existence of the feelings. That is your primary job in interactions with narcissists. Expecting anything else will result in disappointment, at the very least. It's understandable that people want narcissists to feel guilty, for example. They want them to feel sad. They want the narcissist to realize what they lost or what they've done. They want them to feel bad. The reality is that doesn't usually happen. Narcissists do not see other people the way that you do, and they don't have very much empathy, so the likelihood of them feeling bad or realizing that they lost a great partner or a family member is usually too small to consider realistically. They don't see what they've done, and they don't care either way. It is what it is. This is important to remember. Someone who has no empathy for your pain when you're standing right in front of them did not suddenly realize you actually have feelings now that you're gone. But this is an extremely successful love bombing tactic because it's exactly what people want to hear. Not only do they want to hear that they're being seen, their ego needs to believe that they were important to the narcissist, who now deeply regrets throwing them away like garbage and has seen how amazing this person really is. The problem is, this is bullshit. This person does not see you for who you are, and they never will. Their relationships are nothing but interactions with fictionalized images of other people that they carry around in their minds. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, admitted that he would take pictures of women, put them on these little index card things, and write details and stats and lives for these fictional women on the cards. Then he would drive around with the car in the passenger seat, pretending to be on a date with them or otherwise spending like some kind of time with them. This is a tangible, real-life manifestation of what narcissists are doing in their minds already, all the time. They do not see you as you really are. People who are pathologically narcissistic are not capable of that. Being away from you caused them to re-idealize you to some degree, and that's all it is. They need something from you, essentially. Your ego cannot compete with theirs in this arena. They are playing a much different game than you are, and by very, very different rules. If you try to play their game with their rules, which is the only way you can play their game, you automatically lose. That's how the game works. You're in the race to be another body so that they can pretend to be in a race, not because you have any chance of winning. Again, it's understandable that people want the narcissist to feel bad and to understand what they've done. This just doesn't usually happen because this person cannot even really see you, let alone appreciate what they've done to you in any real way. If you're dealing with a narcissist, you have undoubtedly figured this out for yourself already. Even if you succeeded in putting them in jail or killing them, or you know what I mean, like, they still will not equate that with what they did to you. It doesn't even matter if you tell them that. It doesn't matter if a judge tells them that. It doesn't matter. That's not how they're going to see it. They're only going to view it as something being done to them. That's it. However, this does not mean that they just get away with all the things that they've done. Far from. This person is being punished every day and in ways that are much worse than anything you could do to them, to be perfectly honest with you. They are being attacked from the inside all the time and misreading it as coming from other people. They turn against everyone eventually and turn everybody against them. They will never know peace or happiness or love or even a moment's safety, ever. They do not bond, they do not trust, they don't even know who they are, and they never will. They will continue to sabotage themselves and their own efforts for the rest of their lives, never being able to understand that they are their own problem and therefore never being able to fix that. They will keep losing jobs, friends, relationships, parts of themselves, whatever else they're losing now, and it's only going to get worse as they get older. Now, lots of people say that that's not good enough for them. That's understandable, but it also seems sometimes like a misunderstanding of how miserable an existence these people really have. To those who feel like, this hasn't happened to the narcissist yet, just wait. It will. It already is. It doesn't matter if you can't see it, it is already happening. Not only are they under internal attack all the time, but they lost you, and they will continue to lose anybody who truly cares about them eventually. The reality is, these personalities tend to self-sabotage continuously. They will be in situations where they could get exactly what they need, situations where they could achieve absolutely everything they want, and then they will systematically go on to ruin every single one of these for themselves at some point, over and over and over again. This is worse than anything any other person could do to them because they're doing it to themselves and they don't realize it, which means it's just going to keep happening over and over and over. And if you've known any narcissists for a period of years, you know that to be true. You've seen it. They simply cannot hold on to anything. Even if they can capitalize on something for a time, things generally don't work out for them in the end because most pathologically narcissistic people are not able to function successfully for any real period of time. In situations where they appear to be doing so, it's typically because there are other people helping to create that impression or taking up the slack. Generally speaking, this does not last. These personalities typically just are not capable of sustaining the functioning required to be successful in really most things for any true length of time. Their deficits are too big and too fundamental. They just keep getting in the way. People often say that the narcissists in their lives seem carefree, as if they have the world by the tail. They're in happy new relationships or great jobs, and everything just seems to be coming up roses for them. It certainly seems that way, doesn't it? Almost like somebody really, really wants everybody to think that, isn't it? Funny how with all these great things happening, this person is still the same rotten, nasty abuser they always were. Weird, right? Happy people don't behave that way, ever. Happy people aren't abusers. They're not full of rage. They don't believe that they're victims. They don't constantly accuse and doubt and distrust other people. They don't obsess over all the wrong things they believe have been done to them. Just saying. Remember, just because what you want to happen to them didn't happen to them does not mean nothing has happened to the narcissist. Don't fall for the act. These personalities are not happy people. They are not carefree. They are miserable, terrified, unhappy, insecure. It's important to understand that narcissists are not getting away with much at all, using most people's definition of that phrase. Their lives are fake, unhappy, stressed out performances of the same desperate act over and over again that eventually doesn't work on anybody anymore and never really works on them, the true audience for this tired play. They will never get what they want. They will never get what they need. They will never experience even half of the positive things that most people will emotionally, and they will never know why any of these things don't work for them. They go through life feeling victimized, cheated, persecuted, screwed over, unloved, worthless, mistreated, held back, and worse. Good fortune is completely wasted on them. They might not feel guilty for what they've done, but they have not gotten away with it. Their lives are more miserable than yours will ever be because you can recover. You can feel love. You can feel happiness. You have the capacity to trust. These folks don't, and barring some kind of miracle, they likely never will. They are stuck for the rest of their lives with the person they absolutely hate the most, themselves. And at the end of the day, there's nothing they can do about it. That is worse than anything you or anybody else could ever do to them. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please keep those coming. I take appointments online, over the phone, via text, via messenger, via email, and through Zoom and Skype for clients worldwide. So if you're interested in speaking with me one-on-one, you can visit littleshaman.org to do that. I have several books in publication, so if you're interested in picking up a copy of any or all of those, you can visit littleshaman.org to do that, or find them on amazon.com. I teach workshops, seminars, clinics, and more throughout the year, so if you are interested in seeing what we're running this month, you can visit littleshaman.org to do that. And if you are interested in joining our support group, we really have a great group with access to exclusive content, weekly support meetings, and more. You can visit littleshaman.org to do that as well. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast, brought to you by Transrelational Healing, shamanspiritcenter.com, and littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you. Have a beautiful day.
If you've been struggling through dealing with or recovering from an unhealthy relationship with a narcissist or other toxic personality, the Little Shaman has a catalog of over 500 YouTube videos designed to support your journey from discovery to recovery. You can also find additional resources on the Little Shaman website, including tools, courses, workshops, a support group with weekly meetings, and one-on-one appointments with the Little Shaman that are open to clients worldwide. There's even an AI chatbot built and trained exclusively by the Little Shaman using her work that can answer questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, visit littleshaman.org. You can listen to The Little Shaman wherever you find your favorite podcasts.